UMBC Retrievers were crowned champions, totaling a record.
UMBC, the 2019 America East Conference champions.
The first ever number 16 seed to defeat a number 1 seed in an NCAA.
Kasai with the chip, and look at Hauk with the run, and he just gets a foot on it.
Swing and a miss. The Retrievers.
It's like a stone wall. It's incredible that the Retrievers have been able to even.
Welcome into the Retriever Report, Volume 2. I'm your host, Steve Levy, substituting for Paul Mittermeier. We wish Paul the best in his softball exploits out in Las Vegas. Our second segment, we'll go back to Retriever men's soccer. But for our first segment today, we talk Retriever cross country, welcoming in Morgan Casey, a sophomore, Brian Cave, a senior. And Morgan, we'll start with you. We'll actually ask you both the same question. The seasons to date, you've had two in-state meets so far. How has your season personally and the team season gotten off to a start this year?
So my season definitely started off a lot better than I thought it was going to. Right off the bat at Mount St. Mary's, I had a 5-second PR in the 5K, and then ran almost my 6K PR at Navy. In terms of just the girls' season in general, we're really coming in strong, and we've kind of, to put it less nicely, we've got the dead weight, and we're really just out here to work and to do well and to succeed as a team, and really just everyone embodies that, and everyone's out here for themselves as well as for the other six. So it's just like the varsity team's really packed, and I'm so excited.
Excellent, excellent. Brian, for yourself, a senior, your fourth go-around, how are you doing so far this year, and how is the men's group coming along?
So me personally, I think my season has gone as expected. I definitely wanted to take more of a long-term approach this year. Last year I felt like I did well in the beginning of the season and then not as well at the end of the season. And I think that's kind of been reflected in our entire team. We kind of understand that, especially like the month of September, like we just have to put in a lot of work, and hopefully we're gonna see the result of that in October and November. So I think we're off to a good start. Like you said, there's been a really noticeable shift in the culture this year. I think everyone is really here to compete, and I think that's really gonna help us in the long run.
So I really want to talk about some things you guys do like off the field. Morgan, we've spoken. You're actually, as a sophomore, the sports editor of the Retriever. Talk about how you're able to balance not only your academic work, your athletic work, but also a huge undertaking in being the sports editor of the school newspaper.
So it's definitely hard, and I've definitely come into those challenges this year just because I am new. But I really have enjoyed it because it's just like when you're passionate about something, you want to make the time for it. So it's just kind of like combining my love for sports and my love for UMBC and UMBC athletics into just another part of my life beyond the track and beyond the cross-country course. So it's really just about making the time for it because I am so passionate about it.
Brian, we talked last week when you were right here in this very studio. You were named the Grit Ambassador, which means you really, the coaches identified you as someone that is really in line with UMBC's core values. And I know in that, when we had that discussion, you said you've learned so much since your freshman year to right now. And I want you kind of to go over that again. What exactly has been the one or two key things that you've really learned and matured about during your time at UMBC?
So I'd say the main thing that I've learned is running is so much more than running. I feel like athletics in general, it's a lifestyle, and you have to be committed to that lifestyle. You have to be willing to make some concessions in your personal life, and you have to be willing to put in more time outside of running. For me, that's like, well, for everyone, like making sure you eat healthy and get plenty of sleep, and doing the like stretches and drills that you need to do to be successful, and understanding that you're not going to see any change immediately, but if you can just be very consistent in how you do your business, you should see good results in the long term.
Brian, you're a mechanical engineering major. What are your career aspirations? Obviously, you can see the finish line in sight here in the spring. What do you hope to do after you graduate?
So right now, I've been trying to keep my options open and just try to put in as many applications as I can and just try to build some connections. for me, I feel like I see a couple like very large scale problems in the world, like with climate change and like especially in our countries, like the infrastructure is getting a little bit older. So those are two problems that I kind of recognize that if I could work in those areas, you know, maybe like to develop some renewable energy solutions or like help improve the infrastructure and do it in a way that like doesn't harm the environment. That's kind of the direction that I would like to go in my career.
Very good. Morgan, typical weekday in your life, what does it kind of consist of? You know, people see, you know, you guys competing on Saturdays and such, but what is a normal day like for Morgan Casey, if there is such a thing?
I know definitely, for me, my attitude on a recovery day, which for us are Monday and Wednesdays, is definitely different than Tuesdays and Thursdays, which are our workout days. But typically it's just getting up, making sure that I eat something, and if not, just kind of making a protein smoothie and running out the door, just because I definitely am someone who doesn't allow a lot of time for the smaller things in my life. But yeah, it's definitely just getting my head right for school and then getting my head right for practice, so that way I can really be putting my best foot forward at every point in my day, that, you know, I'm in the right headspace, I'm focusing on academics when it's time to focus on academics, and then same when it comes to running. Like as soon as I hit the track, it's like, okay, this is where I'm at, everything else doesn't matter. Like those 6 assignments I have to do, that article I need to write or edit, like doesn't matter, because I'm here for my team and I'm here for my coach.
We know you are a big Game of Thrones fan, so I want to get the you know, how you weigh in on the finale of the Game of Thrones.
Okay, so it's definitely like, I understand they had to wrap it up. The writers were kind of like, at least in their interviews, they were kind of done with writing, but I definitely think based off of going through and reading all the books that are published so far, really it should have been better. I feel like they were just like, just, you're done. Okay, we're done. Go and be done. And just kind of like they ended it with each of the characters not really getting their rightful dues in terms of the end of their stories. But, you know, money is money. And I can definitely relate to wanting to move on in terms of like your personal goals.
Right. Brian, we know from your bio online that you're a Baltimore Orioles fan. Tough last couple of years, but you know, can you see how they're trying to build for the future? You know, taking some lumps right now, but are you frustrated right now, or are you trying to look ahead to what might happen 3-4 years down the road?
I try not to be too frustrated. You know, like at the end of the day, it's just a game, I guess. And we've definitely seen this kind of plan work with other teams. You know, like the Astros did it, the Royals did it, and now I guess the general manager who was on the Astros is now the Orioles general manager. So it's a business. I kind of understand you have to be willing to clean house and start new sometimes. But yeah, like hopefully in a couple of years, the atmosphere's a little bit better and they can start winning some games. Because obviously, Camden Yards is, from what I understand, like one of the nicest baseball stadiums in America. So it'd be kind of nice to have a good team to go along with that.
Excellent. Well, very good. First of all, good luck this Saturday. Your first really large meet of the season up at Lehigh. And then obviously the American East Championships are on the horizon, November 2nd up at UAlbany. Really appreciate you guys coming in today, and best of luck on the rest of your seasons.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When we come back from this break, first of all, take a look at the homecoming schedule. You'll see that for a week from Saturday. When we come back from this break, we'll talk men's soccer with Coach Caringi and Jordan Ehart.
That experience in Charlotte was amazing. It really was beyond the expectations of the world. It was dazzling. So much so that we all said the next morning, did that really happen? So it was a fun experience, a great pride for our students, combination of academics and athletics. And quite frankly, I think the best of the American East, the whole brand is about the combination of athletics and academics.
It's important anywhere to spread respect, no matter where you're from. I mean, this is a safe place and you can be yourself.
Nobody has to not be who they are. You can be who you are, whether it's gay, straight.
It's about race, it's about religion and all that.
We all need to respect each other. We're all humans.
Love each other, be kind to each other, care about your neighbors.
You can learn so much, about yourself when you're with somebody else that's not like you and a little bit different.
Welcome back into the Retriever Report. Now time for our regular feature with men's soccer. Head coach Pete Caringi and sophomore Jordan Ehart. And Coach, we'll start off with you. Let's kind of get an assessment of where we are right now. It's been an interesting season. 1-3 start. Then you had those two great offensive outputs against LIU and GW. Now the last two games, especially the first conference game, not able to hit the nets. Just kind of your overall assessment where the team is right now.
Well, I think we're coming off and still involved with some key injuries. We went to a conference game, our first conference game, and didn't have two of our all-conference players from last year. John Bell has not played, and Marco hasn't played. So we're putting ourselves in situations that we're playing a lot of young players. But I like the fight. I like the battle. I think we're going to continue to get better. And we put ourselves in a position that we understand, I think, from last year, that this is the time of the year you need to be playing your best soccer. Unfortunately, when you go on the road and you play in California and you play, Boston, they're difficult places to play. And I think we learn a lot by going up there, going on both trips. And now we're in the midst of a pretty good run here with the conference games and some non-conference games that are really good teams. We'll learn a lot more about ourselves.
Jordan, from a player's perspective, obviously it's been a lot of travel over the last couple of weeks. From your perspective, where are the guys, in the locker room? How's everybody's head right now going into this really, as Coach said, a really tough stretch of games coming up?
Yeah, I think the team, we're all really still together. Like, nothing's really changed. We're really close. We all fight for each other. Even the last game we lost, I thought we really, at the end of the game, we were fighting. Everyone was pushing forward, trying to score goals, trying to come back. And I think that's going to pay off in the end when, we're all together. I think in the end, when there's even tougher games, if we're all fighting for each other, good things will happen.
Jordan, for you, last year you had an excellent freshman season, come in, starting role almost right off the bat. Then, unfortunately, late in the season, you injure the ACL. At the very end of the season, where literally it could have put you out for not only the spring, definitely, but this entire fall. But yet you were able to really work that rehab real hard and really did not miss a beat so far in coming in, playing from the very beginning. Talk about the whole rehab procedure and how proud of yourself you are that you were able really to come in and be a contributor right away.
Yeah, the whole situation, obviously it sucked, but I just knew from the get-go the only way for me to get back for this season was to work as hard as I could. And, as you said, I could have maybe missed this whole season, and I knew I didn't want that. But yeah, it was definitely hard, but through the whole thing, I just knew I have to work hard every single day. Every single day I have to go to my rehab. I have to get my work done so that I can be here for that first game. That was my goal, to be playing in that first game. And I still think I haven't played my best yet, so I think I still have room for improvement, and yeah, I'm hopefully going to reach that soon.
Coach, talk about Jordan, talk about, what kind of example he has set, even as a young player, for the other players coming into your program, that he was able to accomplish what he did, coming back and, really, again, contributing, to this team right off the bat as the season started.
Well, he's my kind of player, and he's a UMBC kind of player. He plays really well. Last year he had a fantastic season. He had a serious injury, and he's had really little time to recover. He got released, and then our season started. So he's gritty enough to put himself out there to want to play, and I admire that. And I think the difference between last year and this year is that, right now he's still basically 5 weeks into post surgery rehab playing. So he's putting himself in a position that he plays hard every game. He's a winner. I can't say enough good things about him. But it's probably typical of our season. Last year he came in, really worked hard, had a great season. This year he's kind of feeling himself physically. And we've had a lot of injuries. We've had a lot of guys that are trying to go out there and play, along with a lot of new young players. And he's, a sophomore, so it's not like he's been here 4 years. So we put ourselves in, it's a very young team, and we're trying to work through some adversity.
Coach, we went to break. We saw the homecoming schedule. Obviously, men's soccer, the centerpiece of homecoming from an athletic standpoint. You guys are going to probably take on a nationally ranked team, UNH. That's where they're ranked. But the one thing I want to also focus on is we're going to be celebrating the 20-year anniversary of the 1999 team that had the best record in the country that year, won the NEC, went to the NCAAs and played Duke. I know it's a short segment here, but just kind of talk about what that 1999 team meant to you and how good it'll be to see the guys back here a week from Saturday.
Well, it was a great team, and it's a team that actually could have won the whole thing. We played the number one team at Duke and played a great game and should have, could have won the game. We look back 20 years later, and it's going to be great to have those guys come back. I'm always preaching that, you leave your legacy of what you are as a player and as a team, and that team did it. That team had a phenomenal year. I'm sure there's always looking back on that particular game against Duke, and you always have the bad memory of the particular game, but the season was fantastic, and the chemistry of that group was unlike any other, and it'll be fun to have them back to celebrate their achievement and have our guys now look at what other teams have done, and that's our goal now.
Jordan, your memories from homecoming last year. A lot of schools, homecoming is centered around football. At UMBC, it's centered around soccer. Talk about what you felt from the atmosphere last year and kind of like how you're looking forward. I know you don't want to look ahead, but how you're looking forward to that same type of experience a week from Saturday.
Yeah, I think the atmosphere was definitely really incredible last year in that game, and I think this year it will probably even be better because of the team we're playing. I think last year we played Hartford, and they're a good team, but UNH, I think, as you said, will be probably ranked, and I think that's going to add to the hype of the game, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
So, Jordan, I've heard this is a softball question I'm going to ask you, but looking at your bio, I saw some things, and your better moment for you as a young player, either scoring a goal against Curly that was ranked number 2 in the country or in the area at that time, or winning a national championship with Baltimore Celtic. What's your better moment of the two?
Definitely the national championship with Baltimore Celtic. I think scoring against Curly was cool because a lot of the kids that I was playing against were actually on my Celtic team. But that's just one play, a championship. That was a whole season that we all worked for. My whole team came to practice every day, worked hard for each other, and yeah, that's definitely, I'm more about winning than scoring goals, so definitely take the national championship.
Coach, 30 seconds. Let's get a brief preview of the Hartford Hawks who you'll be playing on Saturday afternoon now.
They're on fire. They've got on a great run. They're gaining a lot of confidence. They're not giving up goals. They're winning a lot of 1-0 games. It'll be a difficult game, but I'm looking forward to the challenge. And it's always been great games with us and them, no matter where, home or away. The game has gotten changed to the afternoon, so it'll be interesting to see how well we can do.
Well, you won the afternoon game against GW, so a good sign. 1-0 in the afternoon so far. So best of luck against Hartford. Jordan, really appreciate the visit. Best of luck in your continued recovery.
Thank you.
And we also want to mention before we leave you that the Retrievers come home before the UNH game next Saturday. They're home on Tuesday night against Liberty, 7 o'clock. The Retrievers have not been home in a while. 5-game homestand coming up, so get out to Retriever Soccer Park. Appreciate the guys' visit today, and join us next time for the Retriever Report.